Hi, I'm Jake McCart. I'm the city manager for Vineyard. This is Morgan Brim. He does economic development, community development, planning. He's the guy that's getting all the work done with planning of the growing city that we have here. We are going to try and do this monthly. Each month we're going to try and do a Facebook Live. We're also on Instagram. So we're going to try and get on live and talk about what you guys want to know about what's going on in the city. We've got a lot going on. Obviously we're growing really quickly. We're the fastest growing city in the state on a percentage basis. It was easier before when we were really small to be the fastest growing city. It's getting harder each year as we grow, but we are continuing to grow quickly, and the plans that we'll show you today will show you that we're going to continue to grow for the next couple of years. So if you guys have questions as we're talking about different plans or things, shoot those in. We've got Neely running the Facebook Live and the Instagram Live. She'll share your questions with us and we'd be happy to answer them. Just really briefly today, we did an assemble poll a few weeks ago, and the thing that most people wanted to know about was economic development, what's going on in the downtown, plans for businesses, and really how do we attract businesses to the city. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Morgan's the professional. He's the one that does economic development and planning for the city, so he'll have a lot of the answers to those questions. So we'll probably jump in and talk a little bit about the general plan, zoning for the city, and then we'll get into some specific development plans for each of the areas within the city. But with that being said, if you have questions while we're going along, go ahead and shoot those over and we'll try and answer them.
Yeah, thank you. So economic development is a really important part of our city. As Jay talked about, we have seen rapid growth. I think we're the fastest in the nation over the last decade, and looking at somewhere in the range of like 6,000% growth rate. We were about 125 residents in 2010, and now we're getting upwards of 16,000 to 17,000 residents. So in a little over a decade, we've added basically our entire population. And so it's been a really exciting place to be a part of. Our economic development really starts with our general plan. And so if you want to pull that up, Jay. We apologize to the Instagram users. You might not be able to see our screen as well as the Facebook Live.
I'll try and stay out of the way.
Okay.
So this is the homepage for our website. We'll share links with in the comment section of this post for you guys, but just to show you how to get there. So this is the homepage for the website. If you want to know about these plans, you go to the community development under the government section, and this will get you to all the links that we're talking about today. So you've got subdivision code, special purpose districts, the zoning code, municipal code, and the general plan. The general plan takes a bit to load, and so we've brought it up here. So Morgan can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our documents are available on our website, so, and if you ever have trouble finding them, please let us know. We are creating a page specific to each of our main projects, so you'll be able to see like the Vineyard downtown, the forest development, and things happening around the megaplex development. So stay tuned, we'll have that up shortly. So like I said, the economic development really starts with the general plan. The general plan is our founding document for the city. It's the document that we go to that sets our policy for the next 20 to 30 years. So it's really important. Due to our really rapid growth rate, it was important that we update our general plan. In 2018, we recently updated it. Before then, it was put in place in 2004 when we had about 100 residents. And so as you can imagine, there was a real demand for it. The general plan provides kind of a general idea of what the city wants. It talks about parks, open space, trails, what we're going to do with our lakeside. It talks a lot about businesses or economic development, the types of businesses to go after, and also development in general, land use. Residential density, that's a term that's often used. The general plan breaks that down a little bit and helps us understand where we want higher density, where we want lower density, where we need to preserve land. So it's a really important document. Now, the general plan itself is not law. It's a policy, it's a guideline that helps us when we make some decisions. How we implement the general plan is through a few different things. The budget is a really important part of that, of implementing the general plan, but also it's in how we adopt our laws. So our zoning code, and if you want to maybe jump to the
Zoning map.
Yeah.
So this is back on that community development page on the website. The zoning code's here, and then the zoning map is down here. It's just PDF that you can see.
Yeah, so the zoning map itself is law. So the zoning map is comprised of what we call zoning districts. And so as you can see here, you have different color. So really graphical. It's one of those things you look at like, wow, it's, what do all these colors mean? But each color represents a zoning district, and a zoning district comprises a set of laws that tell you what you can do there. And so for instance, on the south side of the city made a policy in the general plan that said that the south side of the city we would preserve for larger lot, lower density. That's where the golf course is. We have some agricultural uses. And then the policy says as we transition to the north, the train station, we would allow for higher densities and a mix of uses. And so each one of these districts, these colors, tell you what you can do within that, on that property. So if you're located, for instance, in the Water's Edge district, Water's Edge districts will tell you the type of structure you can build, a single family detached, a townhome, a condo. And then it'll tell you things like how high you can build, what are your setbacks, the distance from your property lines. So that's a really important thing for you to understand as residents is, if you build like a shed, how far from the property lines do you need to be? How high can your shed be? So that's how zoning works, and so it's a pretty important tool. So the zoning map itself is interesting because it really highlights for us the different development projects that are going on. And I can point out a few of these. Like I said, the south side of the city, that's where your Sleepy Ridge Golf Course is located. And then as you move northward, we have the Homesteads development.
Or maybe scoot back a little bit.
Scoot back, yes. Water's Edge, and then we have our downtown. On the other side of the railroad tracks, on the east side, we have the Forge development, so the area around the Megaplex development. And that's where a lot of our economic development is occurring now. So you see a lot of the retail that's coming into the city is really focused around the Megaplex Theater. On the north side of the city, so if we go up a little bit, we get this a lot where the city needs to focus more on commercial development, on creating jobs. The thing is, the city over the last decade has developed about 600,000 square feet of industrial and manufacturing space. And that's pretty important because that's added close to about 1,000 jobs. And so if you know the area across from the Harley Davidson, that's actually in Linden. But if you go across the street from the Harley Davidson, this whole area on 1600 North, that whole area is zoned for manufacturing, for flex office, and that's been filling up quite a bit. So I would encourage residents, if you want to see that part of the city, go up there, turn west on 1600 North and go look at it. A lot of development has occurred, and we've been able to see some really wonderful businesses go in up there. So it's kind of hard because a lot of people don't realize that's part of the city, but we've added a ton of commercial space up there. So I don't know, should we go into the downtown? You want to?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's great. That flex office space and manufacturing district on 1600 North has changed so quickly. Mm-hmm. There's new businesses popping up all the time over there. So, like Morgan talked about, all these different districts kind of regulate the zoning and what you can do there. This area in red on the map is the town center or the Vineyard downtown. And we've got a better map, not that one, this one. So this is a better rendering of what the plans are for the downtown. This is intended to be a transit-oriented development. We have a train station. We're working with UTA and UDOT right now. The train station is right here. So this is 800 North. This is the overpass. As you're coming west into Vineyard, when you go over the overpass, that train station is right on your north side. So that has been sent out to bid, and the plans are going forward. We're hoping to have it open April of 21. So you should see some development happening over there really quickly. I know a lot of the residents that have lived here for a while have seen this area change. You've seen a lot of the dirt work that's going on over there. The cleanup's been happening. And those are really key to getting economic development started, because you have to have infrastructure in the ground, and the cleanup and the zoning were all really important parts to getting businesses interested in this area. Morgan and I have gone to retail conventions, and we have been to economic development meetings with the state, and we've presented these plans. And people are really excited about the plans, but to get businesses really interested, you have to start to get the stuff in the ground. So they want to see roads, they want to see water lines and sewer lines. Once that stuff's in place, and entitlements for zoning. Once all that stuff's in place, then we can really start to go after businesses. So this is a general concept of the downtown. It's mixed use. We're planning for 3 million square feet of commercial and up to 6,000 units of residential in this area. So it's going to be a dense urban downtown feel that you don't really have anywhere else in Utah County. So we're really excited about this plan.
I mean, well, one of the early on, which was really kind of interesting, this city, back in like 2010, they really focused on this area, and they said, we want this area to be special. We want to create a sense of place. And a lot of cities, your sense of place, like what makes you Vineyard, for instance, like what is going to be your downtown. The downtown, for many cities, that's the place where people gather. That's where the shops have. That's where your commerce is. So early on, those early leaders, back, we say, I'm acting like it's a long time ago, but 10 years ago, they really knew the importance of creating a downtown. And in doing that, it's important that you have mixed uses. So when we say mixed uses, it's a place where you can have residential above retail. So you might have retail on the ground floor, where you could have entertainment uses close by. You can have academic space. So many of you know that we have the 200 acres of Utah Valley University is across the railroad from us, so right adjacent to the Vineyard downtown. So we've kind of planned this so that we can integrate all of these different uses into one cohesive development project. And the train station itself acts as the anchor where everything else kind of bleeds off of that. And so the areas around the downtown specifically is going to be your highest, most intense development. So there's not a limit in height, in building density, and so we really want that area to be a true gridded downtown. So put this into perspective, if you were to look at downtown Salt Lake, this area comprises about half of downtown Salt Lake. And so it's a pretty extensive development. And I guess if you've been to Park City, the full of Park City could fit into this area. And so, the whole core area of Park City. So, 300 acres, it's kind of hard to visualize, but it's a very extensive, large downtown. One important part of economic development that we found is we would talk to developers before we had a plan in place, and we would try to explain to them, this will be a downtown, it's going to be a place where businesses are going to be mixed together, it's going to be walkable next to a train station. But until we actually had a plan in place and they could visualize the concept, it was really hard for us to get developers to talk to us. And so that's a really important part of the economic development process, is having a really cohesive plan that encapsulates the vision of the city. And we think that this has done this really well.
Morgan, do you want to talk about the promenade, that open space board?
Yeah. So an important part of this, just to show really quick, is the promenade itself. A promenade is the linear park. So if you've been to Europe or Boston, Seattle has a promenade. It's a park space that takes you through a downtown or through an extensive development area. So it's also called a linear park. So what's interesting about our design is that we have a train station on the east side that's then bookended by the lake. And so the promenade itself is the green arterial that'll bring people from the train station down to the lake. So this is the only downtown on a waterfront in Utah. And so the promenade itself is a really important part of that. And so we can show you some designs. So this right here just kind of better helps you understand how the promenade works. There's a station plaza area. So if you notice, a lot of our, in Utah, a lot of the commuter rail stations are surrounded by big parking lots. What we wanted to do is make sure that our Vineyard Frontrunner station had the actual downtown pushed up to it, so that there was a connection. There wasn't a separation with parking lots. And so this first area right here is an urban plaza. So as you get off the train station, you walk into this really amazing plaza area, and then there's different segments that take you down to Lakeside. So you want to go to like the Vineyard open space plan, we can show them that.
Let me pull that up. You want to talk about each of those little districts?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this first one right here is more of a plaza area where you'll have like restaurants. It's supposed to interact with the station area. So the idea is that if you're waiting for the train, you don't have to wait on the platform. You can wait on the platform, but you can also wait in this plaza area. It's a place you can get coffee or eat. Hopefully we'll have some sort of like entertainment type uses down there. So it's a place where people can gather and hang out. And then we're working with UTA to put up digital boards so that you'll actually be able to see northbound train is 5 minutes. And so you don't have to be on the platform for that. You can actually be in the downtown shopping, having fun, eating, hanging out with your friends. And then you can also have a sign right there that'll tell you when the train's coming.
Does this one have it?
No, it's the open space plan. It's this one right here. Sorry. Right there. Yeah.
Does that one have open? That's this one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was it, great. So, yeah, so go back to that one. So this is that urban plaza that we talked about. And so the train plaza, the urban plaza, is supposed to be that part of the promenade that butts directly to the train's platform. So hopefully you guys can see this, and we'll have this online so that you can see the concepts better. But as you get off the train, you walk right into a plaza area that is skirted by shops, and then there's office and retail and residential uses that are mixed together right around this plaza area. And so you can see the concept is having some sort of water feature that comes down the train steps. A lot of sitting areas. We've talked about putting a place for small performances, someone with a guitar can play music as you wait for the train. But also we wanted to make it interactive so that, like I talked about before, there's the digital boards that'll tell you when the train's coming. So you don't have to actually wait on the platform. You can wait right in the plaza area. On to the next slide. And these are some concepts. You might not be able to see these photos as well, but they'll be online. So this is the next portion. So as you move west through the promenade, there's what we call the shared street. So this is a street that we call Market Street. So the plaza area is right here. Then you come into a shared Market Street. That's a place where the street itself is going to be very low speed, and it'll be about 2 blocks of retail and restaurants on the ground floor, where pedestrians can easily walk back and forth across the street. And it'll be a street that can also be shut down if we wanted to do a farmer's market there. We wanted to have some sort of events, festivals. And so anyway, it'll be kind of an interesting thing. It'll be canopied with trees. There's been concepts, if you can see these little lines of lights that will canopy over the street. And so as you walk further west, so this is the Market Street, then it opens up into a larger civic plaza area. And so this was modeled after large public spaces that you see in other downtowns that are packed with public spaces. And so how this civic plaza works is that it'll work as kind of like a roundabout, but a what's called a square about, a traffic square. So Main Street will come up here. So as you head north on Main Street, you'll hit the Civic Plaza, and it's one way that'll take you all the way around. So what it does is that it functions to help to slow traffic. So traffic will go slowly around it, the traffic plaza. but it's a way to distribute traffic throughout the downtown, but to do it in a way that pedestrians can easily cross over. So we've kind of imagined this area as just another great space where, you know, people can come out and they can play, you know, frisbee or just a good place to have social gatherings. We split it up so that we could do different types of festivals on the promenade. And so this is one of the ideas was if we wanted to do like a story festival or some sort of a music festival, you have different spaces that you can break up different events for festivals and gatherings. So
Go to the next block.
yeah, go to the next block. So this next block is a little bit more interesting in the sense that it's a lot more active. It'll be more programmed. So just adjacent to this part of the promenade is an area that we're trying to establish a performing arts center. So we're in talks with some groups right now about possibly putting in some sort of a concert venue, like a 3,000 to 6,000 seat venue, with hotels, restaurants, and academic space for one of our universities that would be geared towards the arts. And so that's the idea just north of this block. Is so if you have a concert and you're there for a concert, before the concert there's a place where you can hang out, and so the idea is about doing like things where that keep you busy while you wait for a show, like outdoor ping pong tables, possibly having a place where you can eat. We've thought about doing like climbing walls, and maybe working with a climbing gym to help program some of that space. And then a large open lawn area where you could picnic and hang out. But just try to break up this space so that you could have different activities for people as they wait for events.
Oh, sorry, my head's in the way. Okay, can we go to the next one?
Yep, go to the next one. Okay, go ahead. So once you get through that, this opens up into an even larger space. And so kind of the same idea of creating areas where if we have festivals, you can break up different events. This, I believe, is a 4 to 5 acre park space right here. So if you're familiar with Penny Springs Park, that's the park that hopefully we're going to open really soon. That's the one with the large detention pond in it, with the clubhouse and water's edge. So this would be about the same size of that. So it's a pretty significant space. One of the ideas was to create what's called a destination playground. And so that's like a playground you would see at other parks, but it's like a playground on steroids. So it's having really massive play equipment, really cool features. And the idea is that it's a place where people would come from all around to come and visit. Do you want to just jump to the next one?
Yeah. Sorry for everybody on Instagram who's been looking at the side of my head.
Jake recently got his hair cut, so you can see his haircut. And then this last piece, this is the part of the promenade that interfaces directly with the lake. So if you can see, the lake is right here, and this will be a large, like 3 to 4 acre park space. This right here would be a cover for a large pavilion or amphitheater where we could have outdoor concerts. And so it may not be facing this way. We may move this so that you don't have the sun in your eyes as you're watching bands play. But we wanted to set it up so that you could have performances and outdoor performances, and also look at the scenery on the lake. And so that's a big part of this plan, is how do we emphasize the beauty of Utah Lake. We think it's awesome. The lake has had kind of a bad stigma throughout the years, but it's improving quite a bit. A lot of resources are going into that. And we recently we're in the running for a close to $3 million grant that will help us to improve this whole lakeside and make it a true beach area where we could have piers and places to eat and hang out right on the lake. So this part of the promenade would connect directly with the shoreline and the south side of the Vineyard Beach area that you see now. So that's sort of the area.
Yeah.
Ernie, you want to talk a little bit more about it, or?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So to get into some specifics about really economic development, we've talked a lot about the planning, the zoning, We've talked a little bit about the cleanup that was happening on the north end. As a lot of you know, the Geneva Steel Plant used to be in operations really north of 800 North. So that whole area has been getting cleaned up over the past few years. Well, that cleanup's coming to an end. A lot of it's done already. And as that cleanup gets done, then we can start putting infrastructure into the ground. And so the engineering department will be working with the developers to get all that infrastructure in the ground. And that is key for economic development. So to specifically address how to attract businesses, once you have the zoning in place, once you have the entitlements on the ground, once it's cleaned up and the infrastructure is in, then Morgan and I have spent a lot of time, we have been spending a lot of time going out, and we've done cold contacting.
Yep.
We've met with people at conventions. We've been working with EDC Utah, which is the economic development entity in the state. So we respond to a lot of inquiries there for businesses that are interested in coming to Utah. Utah has a great name nationwide, and we have a lot of businesses that would like to relocate to Utah. And Vineyard's in a great position because we have open ground that's in a central urban hub. You know, with Utah County, there's not a lot of open areas that big businesses can relocate to. So we've been doing a lot of those. We've been, putting a lot of our effort into those areas. I know that a lot of the residents are interested in grocery stores. So Morgan and I have spent a lot of time meeting with, I would say, all of the grocery store.
Yeah, pretty much. If there's a grocery store business in Utah, we've contacted them.
Yeah, and a lot of them, in the beginning it was hard. They said we didn't have enough rooftops. The grocery store companies really have some pretty tight metrics that they look for when they're going to locate a store. And so we did a lot of legwork initially looking for different stores, finding out what their metrics were, and we've been really successful as of late getting them to contact us and talk to us about what our plans are. I think that the COVID thing has kind of slowed things down a little bit, and honestly the retail world is kind of in flux right now. It's changing, and I think that the downtown will really help that. It's changing to be more towards downtowns, transit-oriented developments, walkable communities, but that means that you don't have large, 60,000, 90,000 square foot grocery stores. You have more smaller grocery stores in more urban areas. So that will be great for us moving forward with these conversations.
Yeah, we're looking at most likely the size of grocery store, and this can change, but what we've talked about with people is that it's going to be in the 30 to 40,000 square foot range, and that's pretty nationwide. I mean, we're starting to see the overall really large block grocery store concept not moving forward as much. There's still a few of them. Smith's has the Smith's Marketplace concept that they're still pushing, but a lot of what we're seeing for our community is a 30 to 40,000 square foot rent, which would be really great. It would fit in with the concept of walkability and providing something that's maybe not a massive retail development, but something that could fit in nicely into a neighborhood.
Yeah, so we've met with a few different grocers, and they're looking at a few sites in the city. Downtown's one of them. They have some other sites in mind as well. So, and we'll keep you in the loop as we have updates there. You guys have seen a lot of the restaurants coming in around the Megaplex, of course. So those businesses are starting to see Vineyard as a great spot to be, and I think that will continue in the coming years. Do we have questions online that we need to respond to?
Yeah, let's see. Jonathan asked when the target completion date is for the town center.
So the downtown, is a 10-year build out is kind of what we talked about with the developers?
Yeah, so we talked with the developers. It's typically a project of that size and scale. They've said it's a 15 to 20-year build out. With this one, because we've invested from the RDA for the city has invested quite a bit in the public infrastructure. So getting the roads in place, the public roads, the promenade. That's one thing that's really exciting. You'll see the promenade constructed in probably a 2 to 3 year phase. You'll have a completed promenade, and waterfront with the train station. So typically the amenities come at the back end, but we've pushed to put the amenities at the front end. But because of that, you're going to see an accelerated timeline. So we're hoping 10 years we could have it pretty much built out.
Yeah, you'll see development start sooner than that. I mean, obviously the train station's under construction right now, so we're hoping to have that open spring of 21, so in the next 9 months.
Someone just asked where the grocery store is going to be, but you kind of touched on that.
Yeah,
already.
yeah, we don't know exactly. We have some sites that we're talking to grocers about. It really depends on the developers that own the ground and working a deal out with them.
Yeah, we've looked at every commercial district, and even some sites on the west side of the city, kind of more of an embedded neighborhood grocery store that's a lot more walkable. And so we've looked at different concepts, and so I think right now we really want a grocery store. That's one of the number one things we've heard about.
Yeah. Anything else?
We have a question about what will the promenade include. Jody, if you want to go back in our live, once it's posted, we go through every slide that shows the entire promenade, kind of in depth.
You want to go back to that slide?
Yeah, we can scroll through those really quick.
Yeah, so this is that was the end one next to the lake.
So that's the whole concept there from the train station to the lake.
And I can go just point out, so this block right next to the train station will have a lot of the retail shops. That's supposed to be kind of an extension of the platform area, but more activated, where it's more of a plaza area. This piece right here will be a shared street where you'll have a lot of retail, large sidewalks, things the buildings will abut right up to the sidewalk. This right here is the traffic square, and it's going to be divided so that there will be places for festivals and just a lot of green spaces where people can come and hang out. The next block over, this is where we're hoping to get a performing arts center, so a place where we could have actual concerts and we could get some cool bands coming in. We like to have some fun things in downtown, and this piece of the promenade is going to be oriented to that type of use. And we program for hopefully like outdoor ping pong and recreation things, climbing walls. And also some green spaces too, where you can hang out and eat. And then this one right here is a larger space. We've talked to like the Central Utah Water District about putting in their conservation gardens there. We're going to try to do a destination playground, just a really massive playground for kids, and then large open spaces as well for people to hang out. And then the last piece right here is looked at as an amphitheater, so a place where we could have outdoor concerts on the, right on the lake, and just a place where you can hang out right on the lake. And then this will interface directly with the Vineyard beach area that's up here. With the grant we're going after, we're hoping to extend the beach area so we have a larger, beachhead for people to enjoy some sand.
Yeah, this promenade area is where we'll do our future city celebrations. We'll have fireworks from the lake, and that area will be great for congregating and big events like that. So, and it will be great for fireworks shows on the water. Okay, any other questions that we have?
Burton asked if there will be places to securely lock bicycles.
Yeah, biking is a huge thing for the city. We just barely adopted a bicycle advisory committee. And so biking's a huge focus for the city, and so there will definitely be places to secure bikes in the downtown.
Yeah, and right here initially, right in the train plaza, the urban plaza area we talked about, we'd like to have a place where people can securely lock their bikes. That'll have cameras on it. There'll be some surveillance, a lot of good lighting. It's a very viewable place for the public. So hopefully we can get that pulled off. This idea is kind of made it so you're not afraid to ride your bike to downtown.
This concept would make Vineyard probably the most bike-friendly city in the state.
Yeah.
Tim is asking if there's no height limit on the buildings, will the only view of the lake be down the promenade?
So there are height limitations on the lake, and so we have different districts. So The lakefront district has some height limitations. There's some limitations here. It's the core area, like the 40 acres right adjacent to the train station that won't have height limitations. And so the planning commission was very careful when they put the code together. So there were some height limitations specifically on the lakeside. They pointed to kind of Miami, where Miami has a lot of the real big high rises on the shoreline, and they didn't want to see that. They wanted a lot of view corridors. And so the code requires basically public access every quarter mile on the lakeside, and so we're hoping that like those access points can also be view corridors. So
Okay, and Neely, have you been looking at the comments on Instagram as well? Okay, so it looks like there was a lot of people that were saying my head was in the way, so I apologize for that. Somebody joined late. This park is located just north of 800 North. So on the north side, as you're coming over the overpass there, it's out. It will run from the train station out to the lake.
and you know what we could do.
Oh, Dawn's here. We need to wave to Dawn. Dawn is our city engineer, public works director. What grocery store will we have here? We don't know exactly which one. We've talked to all the major grocers in the state. Just need a Costa Vida or Cafe Rio and we will be set.
I agree.
More lunch options would be great for us too. When will the area north of 800 North start being developed? So the train station and the roads, the infrastructure will be going in place over the next 12 months. You'll start to see buildings coming out of the ground at that point.
So I apologize. I have to leave, so I'll just let Jake.
Yeah, I'll finish up.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thanks, Morgan.
Ezra with the county wants to know if these slides are posted somewhere online. Ezra, we're going to provide a link in the comments section of this video to all of the slides that we have. Okay, I think that's all the questions on Instagram.
I have one more
Okay.
from Burn. He says there's a trail that runs along the railroad track. Will that be extended to this new area?
It will, yeah, you'll have great trail access. We're also trying to extend a trail on the west side, that lakeside trail, all the way into the downtown as well. So you'll get access to the downtown on the east side and the west side.
I think that's everything.
Okay, well we're gonna try and do these Facebook Live, Instagram Live videos once a month. We'll probably bring some different people in, maybe the developers at some point, some of the city council members, planning commission. So we're interested in knowing what you guys want to know. We'd love to be transparent and share the information for things that you guys want to be interested, or that you are interested in and you want to know more about. We can probably talk all day about different aspects of local government, but if it's not something you guys are interested in, we're not going to have a lot of people watching it on Instagram and Facebook, and it's just a waste of time. So please reach out if there's certain concepts or ideas that you want us to talk about, or things that you'd like to have more information on. It looks like we just got one more question. Is there a plan for a dog park in Vineyard? We have been talking about plans for a dog park. There's a couple locations that we're talking about right now, and so you should see plans for that coming out in the next couple months. Okay? If not, thanks for joining us today, and feel free to reach out to us, jump on our website, and then again, the comment section will have all the links to the slides and the pictures and the videos that we showed today. Thanks.